We got some big news here. Just want to share it. Things going viral here. You know, it came from Talk CDL Trucking Podcast is where I saw the screenshot first. You know, but I've had about 5 drivers that either work for Minstar or from Transport Designs. And this affects about 200 drivers that say that they got a Qualcomm saying that on Monday they're going to know more, but that business is shutting down. And both these companies are owned by the same private equity firm. And that equity firm is True North Equity Partner. And so just want to share that information. Want to read to you what a driver said that they got sent yesterday at 3:23 p.m. from their Qualcomm. Please comment down below and let me know that this is verified and that this is what you got as well. And so that we could put it out there because it's already out there, right? Freight Waves talking about it. Talk CDL Trucking Podcast talking about it, a couple drivers emailing me talking about it, and then a driver sharing me the Qualcomm. So that's awesome. So let's get into today's video. And then at the very end, I want to kind of just give my 2 cents about why I think private equity firms are just a bad fit for buying trucking companies, right? But, you know, this is just my opinion. You know, my truckers, let's get into today's video. What's going on, Truckers? Welcome to Trucker News. Just want to get into this video today. So yesterday, my emails were going off like crazy. You know, people were sharing me just screenshots of this right here. And so I want to share it with everybody out there. And basically, I saw this from truck drivers that were sending this from Talk CDL Trucking Podcast. And it says, 2 Minnesota companies overnight are shutting down, 200 more truckers out of work 3 weeks before Christmas. And it says Minstar has about 100 trucks and Transport Design has about 100 trucks. Both carriers were part of a group called True North Equity Partner, so a private equity company, right? And so, you know, I started doing some research, waited all day to see if there's just any more sources or information. So I want to give you what I have here today so that you guys can have this. I asked a driver that told me that his company has contacted him and is going out of business on Monday. And he says that he works for Transport Design Inc. And so it's one of those things where I was like, okay, appreciate you so much, but let's wait until we get some more information on this. Can you send me something from your Qualcomm or something, right? So he gets this yesterday around 3:23 p.m. It says, dispatch, it is with deep appreciation and sincere regret that we share some difficult news. After many years of operation, Transport Designs Inc. will be closing. This decision was not made lightly and comes only after every possible option continue operation was explored. Someone from the office will be reaching out to you on Monday as we receive more details and direction over the weekend. We will continue to share updates with you. As we move through this transition, we understand the uncertainties that this creates. Please note this that we are committed to supporting each of you every step of the way. No one will be stranded at any point in this process. Fuel cards will remain active so you can safely complete your final dispatch and return your equipment as instructed. We will work closely with every driver to ensure this transition is managed smoothly, safely, and respectfully. We are here to support you in every way we can during this difficult time. Sent by Melissa and then M. Okay, so going to keep the last name here, you know, anonymous. But when I looked this up to see if there is a Melissa M, it actually did state that yes, she's a director of safety and human resource, and also that she worked for Transport Designs for the last 6 years. So we know this information seems to be true. You know, I've had about 3 or 4 drivers say that they got a Qualcomm as well. What you guys could do for me down below is if you work for either companies, both are owned by the same. But if you either work for Minstar or Transport Designs, please let me know that you got this Qualcomm as well. Just want to give good information out here. But just want to share this because it's all over the news right now. When I look up the Safer score, it does say that Transport Designs does have about 95 drivers. And then it says that, Minstar Transport has about 95 drivers. The big question that people always ask is, why does it seem like private equity firms always screw this up? And the reason why is because of the way that they approach businesses, right? And so I just want to share that a little bit because, mud truckers out there were like, Alex, It seems like every time a private equity firm gets a hold of a trucking company, it seems not to do well. They end up closing down, right? And so the truth is that private equity firms really aren't the best fit for trucking companies. The biggest problem with private equity firms is, let's use this example here. Okay, they buy a trucking company that the land is paid off, the building is paid off, the trucks are paid off, everything's paid off, and then they buy this healthy company. This is the playbook of what private equity firms do. So what they do is they literally load the company up with debt, right? And they aggressively cut costs where they can, and they usually sell off all the assets as soon as possible. So in this situation that I'm talking about, can you imagine a company that has all their trucks paid off, their land paid off, their building paid off, everything like that? And so what do? They go and offload it. They go and sell the land and then lease it back. They sell the building, lease it back. Shoot, sometimes they even sell all their trucks and then lease them back, right? So they go from having zero debt from a company to adding on so much debt, but they want that money up front. And we all know how trucking companies work. They are cyclical, right? Some months they could do great, and then some months you are hurting. And we all know trucking companies work on extremely thin margins. When you see a trucking company that's still doing well, it's usually doing well because it has all their bills paid off. Their trucks are paid off. Everything's paid off. Private equity firms, they just want to take out, and I don't want to call them a parasite, but they will parasite the hell out of a trucking company and take everything that's worth and sell it all off. And so every month they're left with this big debt. They have this big warehousing bill. They have a bill on their trucks. And if the trucking economy is not doing great, then they can't pay their bills. And so that underlies why private equity firms usually suck when they own a trucking company. These days I've noticed private equity firms, they're moving from trucking companies and they're buying, freight brokerages and logistics software companies instead, right? Because they can have more steady flow. And that's the problem, right? Trucking is very small margins, you got to put a lot of capital into it. And there's going to be months where you're not going to make a lot of money. And anyone that owns a trucking company at any size knows this. So when a private equity firm comes in, that's what they do. They take a healthy company and they just suck the crap out of it. And then they sell off everything. And then they end up leasing it back. And so now they got a whole bunch of debt, but they made their money, right? So, that's what they do, man. That's it. So I just want to share that with you guys today. But